Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the weekend. Hope you guys all had a great week. So yeah, I'm Dan from Trading with Dan. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, and we shall head straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts. So what do we have going on here? We have basically Bitcoin has broken above this downward sloping trend line, which that is obviously good, but we are currently getting held at the horizontal resistance that we've got drawn in, the horizontal resistance, and also a 4-hour 9. So we are at resistance, we are at a 4-hour 9, we are at the weekend. So yeah, what can we expect from here? Again, it seems like I said this the past 3 mornings. We are at that inflection point again. I think yesterday morning we were down here looking like we were basically going to break above here or not, and then the morning before we were at this trend line looking like we'll be going to continue or get rejected. So we are again at an inflection point. That being, do we break above this 55k level and hold and basically close a candle above this 4-hour 9, close a 4-hour above this 4-hour 9, which will then pretty much continue, which will signal continuation to the upside and an invalidation of the 9? Or do we get a rejection from here and, well, basically come down and play within this range? We don't necessarily have to come all the way down to the 52s, but you would probably suggest that is a distinct possibility. Or we could, depending on the time frame of, well, when it happened, whether it happened today or tomorrow, we could just come back down and back test the top side of this downward sloping resistance. Or what, obviously, we have our ranges, we split them into 2. We could split it again into the 25% well, of the overall range and give us a midpoint, and that could be a potential pullback from a rejection of this level, which would incidentally probably line up with the top side of this downward sloping trend line as well. I mean, we could potentially draw that in. Obviously, it's actually a little bit higher, as you can see. To be honest, yeah, we will draw it in. I don't really want to convolute this chart too much, but obviously we can see how it plays out, see if we bounce off it, and then once that's done we can just delete it. But we can see what is a potential pullback. So if we get rejected here, firstly we could get supported. Basically we could call it just call it around 54,000, so $1,000 lower, or if we lose that, we could potentially be coming for the full retrace back down to fully and formally test this support. Although you might say we've had the forward check, the back check, and the pay check, and we have fully tested this. But yeah, we're going to see how it goes. Don't forget Stimmy checks, market buying on Coinbase. We have got some potential upside from that. But yeah, break above here. I mean, realistically, we're just looking at trading sideways. I would assume trading sideways this weekend between 55 and 57. But obviously we've got this we've got this big level of resistance here, and obviously the previous high of the lower highs, the continual lower highs we've been having in this downtrend. So yeah, things could get pretty spicy if we start to take these out. Especially over a weekend. But do I think that is the most likely scenario? Not obviously breaking above here, because I potentially see sideways, even if it's only within the 54 to 55k range here, as potentially the most likely scenario. But obviously, I mean, we could break above or break below that. But when I say the most likely, like I said, it doesn't mean over 50% probability. It just means more likely than breaking above and trading here, or breaking below this 53k level and trading below here. So I mean, I'm just going to revert to what I always pretty much say, looking for seeds weekend sideways, and if we do make a move, basically a reversion to the mean, which would basically be about 55k. So yeah, that is what I'm looking at here. But we've clearly got to look at the potential for rejection here. And I know we're breaking this trend line, but you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of downward sloping trend lines. But we haven't broken this horizontal, which I'm more of a fan of horizontals. So we could very easily I say very easily. We could get rejected here. Obviously then print another lower high, even though we broke this trend line, another lower high, and then come in to try for a lower low. I mean, that is not beyond the realms of possibility. And if that happened over, well, into next week, that could bring us down to this 46k level. So that is, you can't realistically say that that is an impossibility. Yeah, it's not a zero level probability of that happening. We could also look at if we look at this as a descending broadening wedge, if we want to look at it as such, there is also then the possibility of this being a swing failure bump and run above, which then could see us break back below the trend line and then actually target the downward trend line, well, the downward level of the wedge basically, and that could, well, depending when it came in, again, that could bring us down to 46k. So it isn't, I mean, until downward sloping trend lines aside, until we basically break above basically until we break the lower high formation that we've got going on, then we can't realistically say that the market's gone bullish. And for basically full safety, you could just call that level 58.5. So basically closing a candle, 4-hour candle above 58.5. Then, I think any potential bears or sellers would pretty much lose hope at that point, and I think we would potentially be onwards and upwards. But yeah, like I've said, that is not necessarily what's going to happen. We could be having a swing failure above this trend line. We could get rejected at this horizontal on this 4-hour 9. And then, it isn't just a case of, well, we will definitely get held at 54. We could come down to test 52k region, and then if we lose that, then yeah, I mean, we have to realistically target the next major level, which is in the 46ks, and would also be the this downward sloping trend line. So yeah, like I said, we are doing what we need to do to reverse this trend thus far, but we are just gonna have to take it step by step. And yeah, we basically broke back above here, which was the first step. We stopped going down, which was the first step. Second step was breaking above 53k and holding, which we did. Back tested that, and then the second, third, fourth step. The next step was get to 55k, and then the step after that is to break above and hold 55k. So yeah, have we come a step too far? And are we going to get rejected? We shall see. But like I said, weekend price action. Let's see how it goes. Ethereum, Bitcoin, so the Satoshi pairing. It is good to see that this has basically got all the way back to, just its sort of lower average price, as you can see in this consolidation. So yeah, we need to start making progress on this, because it is clearly looking bearish, and if we come down again, you have to suspect this level has got a good chance of getting lost, and then we'll be coming down to, even to the into the 0.024s. So that would not be ideal. But yeah, like I said, like I keep saying, we are giving this a good shot, it seems, of stopping this downtrend. So now it's just a case of, can we fully reverse it and keep going upwards? So I mean, we got our major levels pointed out. We've obviously got a level we could, on the shorter time frame, we could draw in around here, if it's going to allow me to draw this. Yeah, we've got this level, and then we've also got this one as well. So these are intermediate targets before hopefully I've just revealed my bias there, revealed my hand, hopefully getting above here and continuing upwards. But yeah, like I've said, the main thing, the first step on this was stopping going down, which we appear to have stopped going down. So the next step is, can we basically go back up to simplify the steps? Ethereum USD, as you can see, hasn't lost its trend line. It got up to a 4-hour 9, playing some sideways to down as you'll potentially expect. I mean, yeah, this is the level. Get back above here, and then yeah, we can be looking. We're looking potentially good in USD pairing. We do know this is just going to get dragged along by whatever Bitcoin is doing. But yeah, so basically above 1750. Above 1750, and then yeah, we will be looking a lot better, and above 1850 will be looking a lot better, i.e. bullish. So yeah, how did the S&P close? Well, would you look at that? Forward check, back check. Are we in the process of a paycheck? This is a good close to Friday. This is obviously a good close. People didn't want to be holding shorts over the weekend, it seems. But yeah, obviously, yeah, I mean, this is good. This is what we want to see for Bitcoin. We do know this is correlated. We do want to see this going up. I assume the Nasdaq is not obviously doing as well. Obviously, as you can see, it's not. I mean, how many times does it want to back test this downward sloping trend line and print lower highs? But yeah, Nasdaq is obviously going to struggle in a rising rate environment. Speaking of rising rates, these look like they are basically well, you can see we've lost this aggressive trend line. So are we in for a period of sideways consolidation? Potentially even some downside. Yeah, maybe. And I wouldn't really be looking for any downside debacles in the yield unless we get below this level. But realistically, sideways in this level, well, whilst the Fed decides what it wants to do. But it's got a bit of it looks like it's got a bit of a bit of a breather, a bit of a time to decide. Oh, I've clicked on it again. Why did I do that? Bitcoin dominance, there it is. Bitcoin dominance, there you go. Gold, how is gold doing? Yeah, basically tightening vol, low vol led to high vol, but it wasn't directional vol, it was just vol. It's just sideways vol. So there you go. But gold basically hanging around that level. Silver is looking like it's looking a bit weaker in the medium to shorter term than gold is, and I expect this will be reflected in this. Yeah, clearly as we can see, reflected in this. Have we got a nice downward sloping trend line? Yeah. So well, we kind of haven't. Actually, so I will take that back. I don't know what I was looking at. I mean, I was kind of just don't even ask me what I was looking at. But overall, though, you know, you guys know my views on this. It looks like this is a strong top, and we are looking to make a move down in this. In fact, go to the daily. It might make it a little bit more clearer. Yeah, you can see. It looks like we've had a blow off top, and now are we coming down? But yeah, obviously we could get a bit of a retrace. Retrace could even take us as high as basically up to the 80s, to be honest, up to the underside of this area. So there is a long way for this potentially move to the upside. Do I think it's going to do that? No. But could it within the larger time frame move? Yeah, it could. You could argue it's had that move from here to here, literally up to the level we're just looking at. So do we need to do that again? Potentially not. Is the level for it to target actually this one, which we are currently at? Potentially yes. Are we also on a daily 9? Yes. So could this be it for this, and then could we come back down? Potentially yes. So yeah, there you go. Anything else? No, nothing else we want to look at there. Right, stochastics. What we need to see is these 10, 12 round daily starting to look better. I expect 4 hour will be a bit extended now, so let's have a look. Yeah, well, 4 hours not extended, got a room to run. It can hold us at the other side of this resistance for a bit, so that is good to see. That is good to see. 10 hour is obviously going to be turning up, so yeah, it's getting a move on. I'm not going to draw it. Downward sloping trend line, break that, and yeah, I think 54k is a goner, and we will be into that higher range. 12 hour, yeah, look, 12 hour, you can see, still not getting moving. So I mean, this and the daily, still pointing down. These are the ones that once these turn, we are basically looking at 58k, and then making some decisions. But I mean, we would potentially have room to, in those stochastics, depending on how quickly we got there, room to then push through that level. So yeah, things could be looking good, but the market could trade sideways for a couple of days, and then sideways even within this range or this range. and then those stochastics could have, you've not heard me say this much, but could have a bearish reset, where they basically do turn back up, bearishly reset, then turn back down, and then take us down for another dive. We can't rule that out. So, but overall, I am leaning bullish. I do think stock markets are looking good. Or just general money printing looking good. Just general optimism good at the moment. Yeah, I mean, overall, I do think generally things are looking good. Later on this year, I do think that will change later on this year, but we are not presently at later on this year, so we can worry about that when we get there. Yeah, I mean, realistically, bigger term picture, I'm just looking at, well, if we want to look at it from the perspective of stock markets, and obviously they are correlated to Bitcoin, higher, then we'll get a correction later on this year. That would be my crystal ball guess. So that would indicate potential for higher Bitcoin and then lower later on this year. Providing it just follows us down, we can obviously have the crypto Moonboy narrative that we will decouple at that point. So we want basically to follow stocks up whilst they go up, and then when stocks go down, we also want to go up. So we want our cake and eating it, basically. Obviously, who doesn't? But is that likely? To be honest, we shall have to see. The trend is your friend. So the trend of the correlation is positive. So there you go. So anyway, that is it, guys. Not much else to say. Hope you guys have got a good weekend planned. I am attempting to not get myself arrested at protest this evening, and then also I think I'm going to be going on a TV show on Sunday evening, or the filming of one. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, anyway, so there we go, guys. Exciting weekend. So thanks for listening. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I shall speak to you guys later.